welcome to another episode of the F1 Journey, and today we are here for round number 14, which is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and let's get straight into all of the headlines before we get into the race itself. All of the headlines have come from Red Bull and Aston Martin, and first things first, Aston Martin are to drop as only a minor sponsor for Red Bull. As we know currently, Aston Martin are title sponsors and also engine suppliers for Red Bull Racing. However, all of that has now gone, or will be gone for next season. Red Bull have then decided to take up the backup offer from Honda to reunite as their engine supplier. Now, the reason for all of this to come around is throughout the entirety of this season, Red Bull and Tom in particular have been complaining due to the fact that the Aston Martin engine has just not produced enough power. We've seen from the start of the season it was okay. They were able to roughly match Ferrari and Mercedes. McLaren have brought a big upgrade to their car and are much faster in every department compared to any other team. Now, unfortunately, Aston Martin and Red Bull have had engine delays of their own, and overall, they've just not had a good package. Red Bull have been pressurising them for this. Aston Martin have had enough of it, and they've decided to split the partnership. And of course, Tom was again involved in trying to get this Aston Martin power unit to be strong. He's also had his complaints about it, which could only mean he might not be too satisfied with that, or maybe he is. But obviously with that now, Aston Martin will still have a form of sponsorship on the Red Bull car. As far as we know, it's probably only going to be something very, very small, but of course they'll still be on there. But Aston Martin just got fed up with the treatment over the engine, so we'll take a step back next season. Having a look at the transfer news then, and we've got some interesting developments. According to Sky in Italy, Tom is not going to be at Red Bull next season. Now, of course, with all of this situation going around with Aston Martin and also Red Bull, maybe Tom disagreed with what was being said. I don't know. We've had no confirmation from Tom about what he's planning on doing next season, but as far as we're aware, he's not going to be there next year. But of course, that's only according to Sky in Italy. Whether they're true or not is another matter. Nico Rosberg has apparently been offered another chance to join Ferrari. Now, of course, Rosberg drives for Porsche at the moment. Ferrari are looking for another driver, as of course Fernando Alonso is no longer going to be with them next season. And, well, he might just go back there. Who knows, though? Maybe Rosberg is still happy with Porsche. Devon Butler has requested for him to never be in a team again with Valtteri Bottas. What a surprise. The two of them have had consistent spats and rows throughout the entirety of the season, and now of course Devon Butler has put the request in with his agent, which he has duly accepted. Shock. And lastly, Jaguar are confident that they can get the driver that they're after. Now, this is going to spice up the works a little bit, because at the moment, Hülkenberg and Weber are the two drivers in the team. As far as we know, none of them have announced that they're leaving yet. So if Jaguar are after a driver, that means one of their drivers has got to go if they're going to go pick up another one. So that's kind of unsettled Nico Hülkenberg and Weber. I would have thought so anyway, but no confirmation from them about anything yet. Yeah, interesting one from Jaguar to put that out there. And then finally, having a look at the race news then, Red Bull are losing well over 0.6 of a second in the first sector alone. Red Bull just haven't seemed to hook up the first sector of the lap. They're very quick in the final sector, but their first sector is compromised them so badly that they can't pick up the time in the final and middle sector to cope with it. This might just cost them in qualifying and also in the race. What might help them, though, is McLaren do not look as strong here as they have been in recent races. Mercedes and Ferrari have really ramped up the pressure, and McLaren don't seem to be as fast, and this might just play into the hands of potentially even Red Bull, considering maybe how much weaker McLaren are. And with that being said, both Reese and Fernando Alonso fancy their chances of a victory here in Abu Dhabi, because of course their pace is strong and McLaren's not so much, but we'll have to wait and see. But without further ado, let's get into it for round number 14. It's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Fox98 here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the F1 Journey for you guys today here on the channel. Today we're here for round number 14, which is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And as you can see, we're going to get set and ready for qualifying. If you do enjoy today's episode, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed already. And obviously this is a critical race weekend for us, as we are behind in the championship now, and trying to see if we can do our best to close that gap between myself and Sam. But on our first qualifying lap, Yeah, it wasn't the all-time greatest. We're down in P10, but obviously, as you know, we do our best to just try and get ourselves running and get ourselves going. Our second qualifying lap was P7, and we did actually set, weirdly enough, the fastest final sector of anybody. However, as you would have seen from the race news, I was so slow in the first sector, and I really couldn't find why, but I just was. But on my final flying lap, I actually managed to find a full second to try and improve, and it's only good enough for P5 on the grid, which I was a little bit disgruntled about, and again, I don't know where I was losing so much time, but as we come across the line, we can see critically that Lewis Hamilton has taken pole position for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and that my championship rival Sam, I out-qualified him by 1900ths of a second, so there is potential for us to come back in the championship. This is a very critical qualifying session that we've done here. Unfortunately for Ricardo, he's going to take a 5-place grid penalty, which doesn't help because he starts on the Hypersoft tyres and he doesn't have a choice. For us, it's going to be Hypersoft, Ultrasoft to the end of the race, and that's pretty much the plan and the strategy. So let's get straight into it then, and let's see what we can do. We've got our championship rival behind us. We're looking in front of us. Let's see what we can do. We've got 5 red lights here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Sunsets to nighttime, and it's lights out. Away we go here to start the race, and Hamilton gets off the line very well. We go straight for the inside line to go automatically onto the defensive here, and we go in towards the inside line. Not too bad there, but Vettel there, Sam, not getting the best getaway, gets compromised by Vettel. Also, Charles Leclerc there trying to fight him off, but Sam eventually stays in front of Charles Leclerc, and we meanwhile are now into P5, having a little look there at Reese as we go through in towards the chicane for the first time, getting very close there, knocked Bollard over, but we're going to go down the inside of Reese in towards the hairpin, barge our way through, and that's us up into 4th place. Vettel now is going to have a little look at Reese and see what he can do further back, but for us though, a great start and a bad start for Sam early on then, as Reese now is just holding off Sebastian Vettel as we all make the long drag down the straight to the point where it looks like it's a freeze frame, but it's not. We're getting there, and as you can see, Vettel now having a look at Reese in towards the chicane here. Sam is very much eyeing up a move on both of them by the looks of it, as Vettel now barges his way along, but Reese will hold off on the position, and now Sam is going to look to try and overtake my teammate Vettel. I really hope that Vettel can try and hold off Sam, but of course it's not going to be that easy with the McLarens being as quick as they are, but Vettel is more than focused on attacking Reese here at this early stage of the race. They go through the triple chicane now. Here comes Sebastian on Reese as we go flying on through. We're having a look at George Russell, but Reese manages to shove Sebastian off. Meanwhile, as we have a look then onto lap 3 of the Grand Prix now, DRS has been enabled. Reese is now coming up onto my back here. I'm just about holding on to DRS from George Russell in front, but the top 3 are beginning to pull away from me as Vettel now and Sam go side by side in towards the chicane. Vettel holds on for the time being, but Sam gets a better exit off the corner, surprisingly. I thought Vettel would have probably got a better exit. Sebastian, though, doesn't have DRS on the cars in front. Sam does have DRS on Vettel. Leclerc does as well, so that's really going to hamper Sebastian, and unfortunately, Sam overtakes my teammate Seb. Did as much as he could, but unfortunately was defenseless against him. Lap 5 of the Grand Prix now, and we're coming in for our first stop of the Grand Prix. We go very wide on the exit of the chicane there. Got caught out by the curbing, but it doesn't matter because Reese is still going to take advantage using the DRS, and you can see there's the top 3, and then there's us. We're just beginning to get separated from this top 3 here, but in towards the chicane we go. We hold off Reese as I was thinking, do I defend? Do I not defend? And Sam there is having a little crack at Reese, and in fact Sam might just get the job done here on Reese, so I might have actually just played that very, very wrong indeed and allowed Sam a free overtake on Reese as they go flying through now in towards the final sector here. The two of them still side by side, and I think Sam is going to hold this one off. No, Reese comes back at him though in towards the hotel section now. Still they're going to go side by side, the Mercedes and McLaren, as they go now up and past the hotel towards this final sector here. This is great racing between Reese and Sam as they go in towards the second to last corner. They're still going to carry this on, this fight. We duck into the pits meanwhile as this is going on in towards the last corner. Reese and Sam still going to carry this on side by side. This has been literally for a good full sector here as they go down onto the pit straight. Helicopter cam shows it. Sam outbreaks Reese in towards turn 1. Bit of barging there between the two cars, but Reese holds on as he has the outside line for the first part of this corner. Sam now goes around the outside, but Reese is just about by a front wing there, holding on, but Sam just takes the position on the inside. Absolutely sensational stuff there between Reese and Sam. They really gave it everything on that attack, and it's Sam that comes out on top, and Reese now needs to be careful of Charles Leclerc behind if he is going to try and make an overtake, but it looks like for the time being Reese is okay, and he's looking actually have a little look at Sam here as the DRS is now activated. This is very powerful from Reese as he goes now towards the outside line here of the head of the chicane now. Reese is actually going to go for it here, so he got a great overspeed versus Sam, and the slipstream working nicely in his favour. He was behind in the DRS detection zone. He's going to get a second bite at it here now as the DRS opens for another time. Now Reese is going to come and attack Sam for a second attack here. Will he make this one stick, stay in front of the McLaren? Yes, he does. Reese comes back at Sam and makes that overtake for what is a net P4. As they were all scrapping and fighting, we were coming in for the pits to get off these Hypersoft tyres and get on a fresh set of the Ultrasoft tyres. In fairness, the Hypersoft were actually lasting quite well, but I decided to go for the Ultrasoft tyres and just continue to stick with my strategy, trust in the team, and carry on my way. I didn't really want to make any changes, so that's exactly what I'm doing. So we're coming out now. Hopefully there's some clean air, but we're trying to have a look maybe in between the likes of the Ford and the Williams car, but by the looks of it, nope, we're going to come out in quite a bit of traffic. That's not too good for us. We'll just have to see where we come out. It's going to be P19 just in front of Lando Norris in the Williams car. Not too fussed about him because the Williams car is dog awful, so we should be okay. First up is going to be Lucas Weber in the Jaguar, who actually, I had to slam on the brakes twice there. I was going to go to the inside, and Weber literally just gave a very late move under braking, so I harshly closed the door on the exit of the chicane because, well, frankly, I nearly went and smashed into the back of him. That would have just ruined my race. Now we're trying to chase after Nico Hulkenberg, and knowing how much these AI seem to want to put up a fight, I thought I'd do the same. But this time, I have a look towards the outside to start with. It didn't work on that occasion, but with the fresh tyres, we've got more grip, more traction, down the inside of Nico Hulkenberg. Yellow flags were waving, however, they were just in front of us, actually. So luckily, we managed to get that overtake done, and there's why the yellow flag is out. It's for Nico Rosberg there. So Rosberg has got a problem early on in this Grand Prix on lap 6, and that's cost him some time. We, meanwhile, are trying to have an attack on Nick de Vries there, take the very cheeky line into the hotel section, and nick the position, and now Gasly is our next target. Rosberg doesn't look like he's out of the race. He looks like he might have just picked up a puncture in this Grand Prix, which is really going to cost him. Now onto the back of the Ford of Pierre Gasly. Yellow flag still waving for Rosberg's incident, so Rosberg clearly still going, so definitely has got a puncture in this race, which is really, really bad luck for him. We're now trying to press onwards here and see where we come out in terms of our rivals in this race. George Russell has come out of the pits already. He's just in front, and the next set of cars is where George Russell is at, as we are now going to attack Gasly. That's George Russell there, where the Audis are. So we've kind of gained up on our rivals, but in some senses, getting through this traffic actually did cost me quite a bit of time, especially trying to pass Lucas Weber and then trying to pass Nick de Vries, having to slow down quite a lot for Rosberg's issue. I could have gone flat out through there, so I've probably lost about 6-7 tenths of a second, which would have put me right on George Russell's tail. So in effect, we have lost a little bit of time. Russell, though, has passed the Audi car of Devon Butler and also Valtteri Bottas. We're now going to go and get our way past Devon Butler. Up the inside we go in towards the hairpin. I didn't actually have the clip of me overtaking Valtteri Bottas. Don't know where that clip went, so we don't have it. But we overtake the other Audi car. Now Devon Butler is just ahead, so we are going to get the DRS here to power our way right through. And then this is how Devon Butler got past, this is how George Russell got past Devon Butler. So he went down the inside of turn 1, and then that just gave me the easy run, as you'll see now. So as he flies through here, this is when I managed to get the straight line speed to attack the Audi car, and you can see me coming in behind. We already were close enough at this stage, but I obviously wanted to get on with it and try and attack Valtteri Bottas. So as Butler here is compromised, we then went down the inside into the hairpin, and we got that move stick. And then we're now up into what is going to be a net P4 still, but we're now a little bit closer to the back of George Russell. And as we now tailor a little bit further back, as that overtake went on, Reese then here is going to overtake the Ford of Pierre Gasly and blast past him. Crucially though, Reese has gone onto the Hypersoft tyres for this middle stint, so he's gone a different way to where we're going. Charles Leclerc is on Ultrasoft tyres, so yeah, different strategies coming across the board. I can't quite see what Sam was on in terms of his tyres, whether he went Hypersoft or not. Let me have a, I can't actually see his car. That's him going for, that looked like Hypersofts to me. I think Sam and Reese then going on a different strategy to everyone else in this Grand Prix. Vettel though is going to overtake the Williams car of Nick de Vries. It's a simple overtake on a very bad car, as we now have a little look through there. That definitely looks like Hypersofts on Sam's car. I'll get confirmation when I hopefully show a clip of him overtaking somebody, as we now go in towards the first corner here. This is Reese then going up the around the outside, should we say, of one of the Audi cars, and there's a spin there for one of the Ford cars. That's Pierre Gasly going for a spin, so it's Sam now versus Pierre Gasly, and so going towards the first corner here. Sam goes around, and he's just gone into that's a racing instant, that one. Sam gave the room in towards turn 1. Gasly didn't want to give up the position there. I'd have to say racing incident on that front. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But Sam, confirmation as well, is on the Hypersoft tyres. So Reese and Sam are going a different way then, definitely now, to everybody else. As Reese there makes his way past one of the Audi cars, Reese's next target is now me. That was me just going through turn 1, as now Sam makes his way past the other Audi car of Valtteri Bottas. Now he's got Devon Butler to negotiate and pass him. And speaking of passing and negotiating Devon Butler, he's going to do just that. Weirdly enough, actually, the Audi cars are on the super soft tyres, so on the slowest tyre compound available. So they're doing a very strange strategy in this Grand Prix. For us, though, lap 10 of the Grand Prix, we're now catching up to the back of Pascal Wehrlein in the Porsche car, and we want to try and make a hay and pass him as quick as we possibly can. I've seen people go for it in towards turn 1, so I'll go for it in towards turn 1 as well. Completely flustered Pascal there, and that's an overtake that we can get on with, and now we can press on with our Grand Prix. Reese, though, actually got past Pascal Wehrlein literally instantaneously. We basically held up Pascal Wehrlein to the point where Reese could pass him. So now as we go in towards the first sector here, Reese is only 0.6 back from us in this race, so it means that Reese is very close to using some DRS, and now I have a decision to make. Do I fight against Reese on hypersoft tyres versus my ultra soft tyres and risk having Sam catch up to the back of us, or do I let Reese go, see if I can stick with him? If not, I can just compromise where I am in my Grand Prix and hold off Sam as much as I possibly can. Reese goes for it now in towards the hairpin here, or the chicane. I keep saying hairpin. I'd have a look at a switchback, but I just didn't get it right at all. Didn't really plan it out properly. I've got DRS on the second straight here, so maybe we can come back at Reese and try and make an attack here. We're going to drop the engine modes down, though, because my first thought was, wonder if I can stay with him, maybe, as we now go in towards the chicane. You can see here, we're just not close enough to Reese, and on hypersoft tyres, I can't see me being any quicker than Reese. I can't see it working out. Lap 14 of the Grand Prix, and Sam is now in range to attack, and you can see that Reese is already off into the distance, chasing his teammate Russell down, as Alonso now leads the race ahead of Lewis Hamilton, as we can see on the minimap. Now we need to see if we can focus. This is a very crucial battle here. Myself versus Sam, the 2 championship contenders. Here we go then, going to go at it at Abu Dhabi. Sam goes towards the inside line. He got an amazing amount of closing speed, which really caught me off guard. And now as we go in towards there, Sam gave us a little bit of a bump there on the exit of the first part of the chicane, and then we just go through and we actually smashed the DRS board. That was an accident. I didn't actually realise I smashed it when I was racing. I was too busy I was in the zone, fair play, getting a bit of action, you know, just increasing the intensity of the fight a little bit, but we hold off against Sam there, and through the triple chicane, we go through and we defend against Sam, and now the critical part is just, I'm fending you off, Sam. I don't want you past me. Simple as that. Now as we go on to lap 15 of the Grand Prix, we're going to dive our way through. Sam has a little look towards the inside into the hairpin. Actually might have just touched my car slightly. But as we now increase with our engine modes to blast on through here, Sam now is going to get a great run with the DRS. But if we can hold him up for as long as possible, his hypersoft tyres are going to wear out quicker than my ultrasoft tyres and probably end up matching each other in terms of tyre wear. But on the first straight, Sam wasn't close enough. So that indicates to me that he's turned his engine modes down a little bit. But now critically, he's got a second bite of the cherry on this next straight. Obviously, DRS is going to be enabled. Won't know that, though, because I smashed the board over. Sam now is going to go for it, though, around the outside here. Same as before. We shove Sam very wide. Sam takes the position, but he doesn't cover the inside line and just allows us to sneak back through with a late braking maneuver to get in front of Sam. Apparently, we collided with him. I don't know where, but there you go. Lap 16 of 28 now. George Russell has been overtaken by Reese. In fact, Russell is slowing down in this race now. So Russell is coming backwards in this Grand Prix towards myself and Sam as we fly through towards the first sector. Sam gets a great run now towards the inside of the chicane. Different spot then for Sam to have a look at it, but we can fend that one off quite simply and give Sam the shove wide in towards the hairpin now, and just putting my car in the right places and just reminding myself of what we managed to do at the German Grand Prix back when Sam and Hamilton had a go at us, or mainly Sam. And just going back through all the Grand Prix where we just tried to keep our composure. Like I said, Germany was one, you know, France against Fernando Alonso was another. We've had great races where we've had to be extremely defensive, and now this is our opportunity to just keep that up as we now go through towards the chicane. Sam didn't get us on that first straight, but again, he seems to be enjoying attacking on the second straight, and here comes Sam now for the attack on the second straight then in towards the chicane. Will Sam go to the inside or the outside? None of them. He doesn't actually get close enough on that occasion, but you can see George Russell is really falling back into us now. He's only 2.9, literally just up the road. I think George might have some car trouble here, which is costing him a lot amount of time here. Lap 17 of the Grand Prix now, and Sam has come in early because, of course, he's got the hypersoft tyres on. We can go that little bit longer. Fernando Alonso is going to go past us. That's him making his second stop of the race. I'm not going to fight Alonso because he's not in my race. And to the end of lap 17 now, we're going to come in for our final stop of the race onto hypersoft tyres. Russell there nearly went into the back of George there. So yeah, George is not having the best of second stints. He clearly has got some car problem. I can't see any damage on the car. Unless I'm just being completely blind. So yeah, now the crucial thing is was staying out extra costing us versus Sam? The only way to find out, we've actually jumped George in the pit stops as well, so I don't even need to overtake George on track. So Charles Leclerc there might have just held up George for a little bit, and luckily for us, we don't get held. So therefore, we are now in front of George Russell, which is great, because if he has got critical car problems, we can just carry on with our race. I can't see Sam coming up behind. That was a Porsche car going through there, and that's a Renault car of Daniel Ricciardo. So have we jumped Sam? No. So Sam going in a little bit earlier wow, he's 4.3 seconds clear. Jesus Christ, that was a very bad decision to stay out longer on my ultra soft tyres. I should have covered him off and just gone in at the same time, but unfortunately we didn't. Meanwhile, back at the front though, these two, Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton, have been having a phenomenal scrap for the lead of the Grand Prix here. Lap 19, I believe that was, as I was looking at Hamilton's steering wheel now. And this is massive here because these two, we know these two have had a great rivalry back in the good old days. Also, as well, of course, Lewis Hamilton has not won yet for McLaren. Alonso has won already this season for Ferrari, and Fernando Alonso is looking to pick up his second race win of the season. Lewis Hamilton would ideally love to get a win for McLaren, just considering how quick they are. Obviously, Alonso, though, clearly doesn't want that to happen as they go now in towards the chicane here. Lewis Hamilton has a little look at Fernando Alonso into the chicane. Little contact there between the two of them. Alonso holds the position and stays in front, but opening up the DRS now is Hamilton, and this time he's going to stick into the slipstream, unlike last time where he didn't. Now he goes towards the inside line and gives Alonso a little bit of a shove onto the curb there, and as they go through and towards the triple chicane, Alonso tries to hang on in there, but Hamilton can take the position there. Fernando Alonso has to give in into the position, and Hamilton is up back into the lead of the Grand Prix, but I can tell you that Alonso is probably going to want to keep that fight going for a little bit longer. But lap 26 to 28 of the Grand Prix, my race is it's not really working out at the moment, is it, in terms of the championship fight? And it's going to get worse because Charles Leclerc now is onto the back of us. He's been closing us up all the way through this second stint, or this final stint, should I say. Leclerc goes towards the outside line, but we're going to defend that inside line quite comfortably. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, this entire third stint was just me just punching my desk because I was frustrated that I didn't cover off Sam when I really should have. Like, to be honest, I should have just compromised every part of the Grand Prix to just beat Sam. And obviously, you know, in this situation now where I'm scrapping Leclerc, look at the gap. It's now 16.8 between myself and Sam. Like, if I'd come in the same time as Sam, stayed out in front of Sam, I could have fought him all the way to the end of the race. Leclerc could have been onto the back of us. Russell could have been onto the back of us. You know, it could have compromised us, and maybe one of them could have finished in front, you know, and so forth. And I was just kind of racing with regret in this final lap of the Grand Prix here. Leclerc is still onto the back of us. He's really giving it everything, as I believe Hamilton has cured the attack from Fernando Alonso and is pulling away now as they go towards the exit of the middle sector. Wow, they're very, very far ahead. As we now blast on with the DRS now for Charles Leclerc, but we're going to use every form of engine mode that we've got to cover Charles Leclerc in this final laps, and in fact he's not even close enough to go for it into the first part of the straight. So of course I'm preparing myself now for the second part of the straight here, and that was not the best way to turn into that corner. Caught the curb a little bit too aggressively here. Charles Leclerc though doesn't look like he's getting close enough. No, he's turned down his engine. We've got plenty of ERS available, and even despite that, you can see we're just not really making any progress now further up, and we're going to have to settle for a consecutive P5 as we go very wide there. Lewis Hamilton, though, does indeed take the race win for McLaren. So finally, after reuniting with his former team, he does indeed get that illustrious victory that he'll be really wanting to have, which is obviously with McLaren. Meanwhile, though, of course, there's going to be Fernando Alonso finishing in second place. Reese then, I believe, is going to take P3. Sam has crossed the line already to finish in P4. And annoyingly for us, we're now going to come towards the start-finish line to take home P5 in this Grand Prix. It's not where we wanted to finish. We do end up finishing behind Sam. And when we had an opportunity to take points away from Sam in the championship this time around, we didn't do it. We lost out. So as you can see then, from the race results, Lewis Hamilton obviously wins the Grand Prix for McLaren. Fernando Alonso finished in second for Ferrari, just 2.1 seconds back. Hamilton eventually pulling away. Reese then finishing in third, just 7.4 seconds back. So it was a good race actually for Reese, considering he spent most of the race stuck behind me after I was scrapping with him for quite some time. So I can imagine Reese definitely will be regretting being stuck behind me, because he probably could have been up there fighting these two for the win. Sam finishes in P4. He was 12.6 seconds off in the end. And again, we finished in P5 and we finished 31 seconds off. Granted, we were fighting Charles Leclerc a lot at the end, but at the end of the day, hindsight is a wonderful thing. I should have stopped whenever Sam was stopping, or came in earlier than Sam to stop him from getting that undercut, but he undercut us and we can't do anything about it. Charles Leclerc finishes in P6 for Ferrari. Again, he was only half a second off of us. George Russell in P7. He did have mechanical problems. It did pick up for him at the end and he did close the gap to us to 1.3 seconds, but it wasn't enough. Devin Butler, again, consistently scoring points with Audi, finishing in P8, 36 seconds behind. Sebastian Vettel then finishes in P9, 54 seconds back, and then Pascal Wehrlein finishes off the points in P10. Fernando Alonso picked up the fastest lap for a change, because it was Sam, like, consistently, but he picks it up this time with a 1:36.758. Now, as we look at the Drivers' Championship and see how that's changed things around, at the top of the championship now, it is 9 points between myself and Sam, if my maths is correct, which I believe it is, unless I'm wrong, probably. Sam's on 217 points, we're on 208 points, and in that race, you know, if it was the other way around and we finished in P4 and Sam finished in P5, you know, it would have meant that the gap had come down in the championship, and that would have really helped us out heading into the final two races. But it's still going to be difficult for us, but we've got to keep on getting that pursuit going. Charles Leclerc is third in the championship on 140 points. He is now mathematically out of the championship race. It is now just a two-horse race. Myself or Sam is going to take the world championship here in Season 4. George Russell is fourth in the championship on 130 points, with Reese on 111 points in fifth in the championship. So he's doing a great job of really pushing himself back up the championship order. Lewis Hamilton has put himself in contention for potentially getting up to P4 in the championship. He's now on 105 points after his first victory of the season. He also leapfrogs Fernando Alonso, who is on 99 points. Pascal Wehrlein is on 89 points for Porsche. Daniel Ricciardo is on 77 points. And then Devin Butler finishes the races with just 72 points. Now we're going to go to the Constructors' Championship, and McLaren are on 321 points with Aston Martin Red Bull on 257. McLaren have pretty much now wrapped up the Constructors' Championship. I believe Red Bull need to outscore McLaren by around 22 points, something around that margin. And to be honest, I can't see it happening. I can't see McLaren slipping anytime soon. But we'll have to wait and see, of course. The championship's not over till it's over. Ferrari are on 248 points. They do close the gap on us in the championship. So Ferrari coming back at us. Mercedes as well doing the same. They're on 231 points and are doing a great job of coming back into this championship fight. Porsche on 134 points with Audi on 128. Renault up to 94 points with Jaguar, Ford and Williams remaining on 9, 2 and 1 points respectively. Now, let's go and have a look at the post-race notebook and see what the teams and drivers had to say after today's race. And first things first, Lewis Hamilton is finally got that win with McLaren that he so desperately wanted. Coming to McLaren, he said that he wanted to have a great season, have some fun, and more importantly, pick up a race win, which he really wanted to do, and he's gone ahead and done it. So congratulations to Lewis Hamilton. He says he's very, very happy. Of course, Hamilton will not be with McLaren next season, and obviously he really wanted to pick up the win and took advantage of it. Of course, he took pole in Monza, and it didn't work out for him with front wing damage and just not the best race for him. This time around, taking pole in Abu Dhabi, he managed to convert that into a win. Tom, however, says that he's literally got no answer for McLaren. Obviously, McLaren today once again took the race victory. Tom had a chance to beat Sam, but he didn't make it count. And he says that not only is the car just way, way too fast for him to try and compete with, but he also has to deal with the fact that McLaren are a very strong team. Together, collectively, worked a better strategy than Red Bull. Finally, Fernando Alonso is happy to get onto the podium, but is upset by Lewis Hamilton beating him. Obviously, Fernando Alonso finishing in P2 today says he'd love to have picked up his second race win of the season. He can't complain about a podium, but of course, it's a little bit annoying when Lewis Hamilton, one of your arch rivals in the past, goes ahead and beats you. But of course, the respect is back there between those two drivers, and he had a great time fighting him throughout the race. But that's going to be it, guys, for round number 14 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Next time around, it's going to be the Japanese Grand Prix, where the championship race is taking more twists and turns. Will it take another one? We'll have to wait and see. But for now, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you then. Take care all. Peace.